Tony, Function 1 sound systems are pretty legendary. I have a lot of respect in the scene. How did it come about, the first Function 1 sound system?
Well, I suppose really it goes back to the late 60s, in fact, from my point of view. But we did start Function 1 in 1992. And I had a company. I was probably a bit too naive with the people I got in bed with, and they sold it from under my feet. So I had to reinvent myself. Did that during the 90s. And, we're into probably the fourth generation of an idea that came about in the mid-70s.
And what made you feel a need to come up with some new special sound system? What was lacking in previous ones?
Well, going back to the early days, we just didn't have big sound that was of sufficient quality.
Bass?
Bass and, everything else, actually. Bass. We've always been into big bass, for sure. So it's because of what I've just said is that, when it's clean and pure, the accessibility is there and people can find a new state of consciousness, and I think that's essential.
So you've helped produce a sound system which creates this amazing quality. So what do you think of these modern digitally compressed files?
Well, I think I've just said it all, but I think they're an abomination, frankly. They're only 7% of what is really required to pay respect to human hearing.
To get proper, decent sound quality.
Yeah, they're just noise. They're not audio.
So what's as far as the artist is concerned, what should they be doing? Sticking with vinyl or using WAVs?
No, they don't have to stick with vinyl at all. In fact, WAVs, not necessarily CDs, but, about 2 or 3 times the amount of information that CDs have got is actually pretty well as good as vinyl. And it doesn't have some of the shortcomings of analog, such as hiss and clicks.
So your suggestion is that people should use WAVs and just don't touch MP3s?
Absolutely, yeah. And, 96 kilohertz, 24-bit depth, that's going to be fine.
And for people who put on parties themselves, have their own rigs, but can't afford a top-end sound system, are there some simple things that you should really focus on? The most important things to have some sort of decent sound?
Well, yeah, for a start-off, the DJ's mixer, it shouldn't go any further than the orange. And as also said, so many drive it into the red. And before it's even got to the sound system, it's already entirely corrupted. And anyway, anybody running a rig will have a limiter on it. So it won't make it any louder, it just makes it more distorted. And this is such a simple concept. Why aren't we dealing with it correctly?
So really you need a decent sound engineer to take charge and make sure things are running at the right levels.
It's not hard to see when a fader's going into the red. It's not rocket science.
Just simplistic thinking on the DJ's part, basically.
It's just like the loudness wars. We compress the fuck out of everything so as to try and make it louder than the next guy's record. It just destroys the audio.
And sound systems, is there any, at the top end, Function 1, is there any more room for improvement, or you think you're there, it's as good as it gets?
No, I'm learning new stuff about loudspeakers and audio nearly every day. So it's still going on.
Okay, so what improvements could be made to your systems?
I guess less weight, more clarity, more purity, more level, smaller size.
Convenience.
Yeah. Although I'd never sacrifice quality for the sake of convenience, although that does seem to be what the world is doing.
All right, thanks a lot for joining us, Tony.
Not at all.
Okay, this is Glenn McMahon here in Brick Lane in East London for Vision on TV.